Japan. A land of contrasts. A land where ancient customs and rituals coincide with... Oh my god, is that a bear with a melon for a head? What's that panda doing with that tongue? And what the devil is that? Jesus! What with Halloween fast approaching, I wanted to make a video on something truly shocking and disturbing. And whilst my face alone would usually fit that description, this year, time and again, I've come across Japanese mascot characters that look like they've been ripped out of Stephen King's imagination. So today I want to show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes. I've assembled 10 of the most obscene and disturbing characters that I've found on my travels around the country. But the first thing you need to know is Japanese mascots, known as yurukara, are big business in Japan. Not that long ago I was passing through Kyushu in the south when I came face to face with the richest mascot in the country, Kumamon the bear, who is said to be worth $1 billion to the local economy. Originally conceived to promote Kumamoto Prefecture when a new bullet train line opened in 2010. In 2011 he was ranked as the #1 yurukara in all of Japan, with his newfound fans snapping up every manner of Kumamon branded paraphernalia they could get their hands on. Meanwhile, Kumamon the superstar travelled the country on horseback, and mingling with the rich and famous. At first, I couldn't understand how a simple mascot, designed to promote a public initiative, had gone on to become so ubiquitous and popular around the country. And it wasn't until I spoke to a Japanese mascot expert that it all became a lot clearer.
Kumamon wa Kumamoto kara kimashita. Kumamon wa sugoi desu ne. Kumamon ga daisuki desu.
After Kumamon's raging success, the game had changed, and now you can scarcely walk down the street in Japan without bumping into a character who's become the sentient manifestation of a product, a place, or a public initiative. Case in point, trying to promote Bollywood movies to a Japanese audience? Try Nanko-chan, a walking, talking piece of naan bread. Running an anti-drugs campaign but want to make it fun. Meet Nodora-kun, a knotted blue syringe with an awkward slogan on the front. No drug, no drug. Hell, even Amazon has its own character, Pochi the dog, which is a dog made out of cardboard boxes. Quite like that one. But some places have gone the extra mile and actually turned real-life animals into their mascot. A few years ago, I presented a documentary about Japan's cat obsession, and for one segment we went to the prefecture of Wakayama, just outside of Osaka, to feature an astounding story about a cat called Tama-chan. A struggling railway station had adopted a stray cat, put it in a hat, and turned it into a station master to greet arriving passengers. It sounds really quite clever, but all they'd done was put a cat in a hat and stick it on a pedestal by the entrance. And yet, 55,000 people in the first year came to see the cat, and it generated $10 million for the local economy, all to see a slightly bemused cat in a hat. It begs the question, why the fuck didn't I think of that myself? In fact, so inspired was I by the story of Tama-chan, I went out and bought my very own cat mascot, Mr. Snuggles, whose subsequent appearances led to an increase in views, subscribers, likes and comments. It seemed like the good times were never going to end. And then lots of viewers pointed out that Mr. Snuggles looked a little bit like Hitler. And begrudgingly, I had to fire him before viewers thought I had some sort of malicious hidden agenda. Though this afternoon, I think I might have found an alternative. I was wandering aimlessly through a shopping mall when I came face to face with a cheeky looking toy called DJ Bear. I'm not sure what it was that drew me to the character. Maybe it was the cumbersome expression on the front saying, "I copy what you said." Or perhaps it was simply his deeply unnerving expression. Either way, here he is, DJ Bear. And what I like about this is, I like Mr. Snuggles, who was just in effect an inanimate object. DJ Bear can actually move and do something, so he can potentially provide an invaluable contribution. Hello? What a twat. On the island of Hokkaido there's a town called Yubari, famous for having the most obscenely expensive melons on the planet, the Yubari King melon. But how expensive can a melon really be, you ask? Well, this year 2 Yubari King melons went for $45,000, 5 million yen for some fruit, 2 melons, I don't get it. And whilst I'd like to tell you the real horror in this story is the melons going for $45,000, the town of Yubari cashed in on this melon craze by creating a fun-loving, cute, cuddly mascot known only as Melon Bear. Half melon, half bear, and half children's nightmare. I first came across Melon Bear on a trip to Sapporo 2 years ago when he caught my friend Natsuki's attention for his unusual teeth.
Oh my god.
Dental. Human dental. It's strange.
Human teeth.
Human teeth.
Hokkaido is actually home to quite a lot of bears, and the story of his genesis goes that a bear sunk its teeth into a juicy Yubari melon, and since then Melon Bear's gone on to sink his teeth into the competition. Take that, Kumamon. Try meeting Keanu Reeves with your head ripped off. But Melon Bear is just one of many terrifying mascots to come out of Hokkaido. One of Sapporo's most iconic buildings is the old clock tower building in the heart of the city. It actually became an issue that tourists were going to see the clock tower and were left feeling underwhelmed by its appearance, myself admittedly included. And so a local video game company came up with a solution to appease the hordes of ungrateful tourists who failed to appreciate the 19th century architecture. They created Haunted Clock Guy. Modelled on the clock tower, he is the literal representation of the horrors of travelling all the way to Sapporo to see the famous clock tower, only to be horribly disappointed by its appearance. Apparently its creator's objective was to, and I quote, create an impact that tourists will never forget. And it certainly is no easy task wiping the image of Haunted Tokei Guy, attempting to dine on a woman's head out of your memory. Still, not all the mascots on this list involve a character trying to rip someone's head off, although the next one, well, I suppose the next one kind of does. Earlier on we saw No Dora-kun, an anti-drug campaign with a noble aim to inspire children to no drug and also to no drug. And it's important to point out that this character was a rejected idea for an anti-drugs campaign in Kyoto, and I'm not really sure why, to be honest. Oh wait, to be fair, if a vampire dinosaur skeleton with half a dozen syringes for teeth doesn't stop you from taking drugs, nothing will. I can't help but think this was an opportunity to do something really, really quite special. And it boggles the mind that whilst this one didn't get commissioned, the next one did. This is Takapo-kun, a sentient runway who is the mascot for Takamatsu Airport. And there is a sense from his glazed expression that not even he really knows why he exists. I mean, that is a face of a sentient runway having an existential crisis about its own existence, which is not a sentence I ever hope to say out loud again. But there's a sense that, in all seriousness, they could have chosen something a little bit better. At least pick something that has movement. Well, within reason, anyway. Meanwhile, in the nearby prefecture of Kochi, the region is famous for having amongst the highest consumption of alcohol in all of Japan. And as a result, the locals have a godlike mascot to comfort the inebriated townsfolk. Bero no Kami-sama, literally the god of drunk. He's a nude, pink, spiral-eyed figure who's said to protect you on a night out. Close inspection of his marketing materials reveals that he, number 1, protects you from having a hangover, number 2, gives you more sexual power, and above all, number 3, he protects you from falling down the stairs. Perfect, finally, a mascot we can all believe in, unlike the next one. Oh god, no, really? This is Ojinyan, literally a large yellow cat with the face of an old man. Created by a Tokyo-based talent agency, apparently Ojinyan likes to sing and dance for the children. That is, the children that haven't run out of the room screaming in terror. As somebody who has seen a cat at least once, I think I can say with a degree of certainty that this character is stretching the definition of what a cat is. And it's definitely not something I want to leave in a room with children. Then again, the same could be said for the next character on our list. Tagapan, a panda with a not at all unpleasantly lengthy tongue, who travels around Hokkaido tasting the local gourmet foods. And while he's not stuffing himself with the regional dishes of Hokkaido, he's off licking the faces of other mascots, like a family-friendly version of the liquor monster from Resident Evil. The Chiba Lotte Marines baseball team have an ever-changing mascot known as Nazo no Sakana, literally the mysterious fish. And like an evolving Pokemon, what started out as a simple mysterious fish eventually gave birth to a mysterious skeleton fish thing. The skeleton creature itself evolved into a giant fish head. The only question remains, what comes next in Nazo no Sakana's evolution? We've seen an awful lot of bears today from Hokkaido, and this one is by far my favourite. Say hello to Zombear, a zombie bear from Otaru Town who has his own appetising brand of blue curry. Oh, delicious, yeah. The story goes that Zombear has been wandering the streets of Hokkaido for 70 years in search of his owner, like some sort of undead Winnie the Pooh. Turns out Zombear has his own website with his own backstory. It seems part of the reason he's failed to find his owner is because he has, and I quote, no sense of direction of extreme. The number of times to get lost in many cases, but luck is very good. And after looking at Zombear's merchandising range, it does actually seem that luck is very good. I mean, the Zombear pants are completely sold out. Perhaps surprisingly, Zombear isn't the only character with his own brand of curry. Down in Hyogo Prefecture in the town of Fukusaki, they've created what many people believe to be the most terrifying mascot yet. Say hello to Gajiro, a demon from Japanese folklore said to lure people into rivers and drown them. Yeah! What? Fukusaki town was actually the birthplace of a famous folklore expert, Kunio Yanagita. Gajiro takes advantage of his reputation, not only turning the mythical creature into reality, but even installing a mechanical version in the local town pond that pops out and scares passers-by. Although thankfully, unlike the folklore, it doesn't drag you in, kicking and screaming to your death. And whilst he might look utterly terrifying at first glance, and indeed second and third glance, his long flowing black hair gives him something of a rock star-like appearance that the locals have been quick to capitalise on. But Fukusaki town knows exactly what it's doing. To quote the creator of the character in the local government, there are already plenty of cute characters around the nation. Exactly, there are hundreds of cute cuddly mascots around the country that are ultimately dull and easily forgettable. The race is on to keep the bar high and to keep producing mascot characters that will inspire nightmares in children for generations to come. So there you have it guys, some of the weirdest and creepiest mascots out there in Japan today. But which was your favourite? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. There is an amazing Twitter account called Mondo Mascots, probably my favourite Twitter account that I follow, posting new characters daily from around the country. And if you like what you saw today and you want to see more mascots, I highly recommend checking it out. And I have to say a big thanks to Chris at Mondo Mascots for helping me in my research for the mascots in this video. Without him, without Mondo Mascots, this video would not have been possible, so huge thanks. But for now though guys, as always, many thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. I'm off to, to find a new mascot character. I don't think this guy here, don't think he's going to make the final cut.